brouhaha about Bongi Mbonambi. I can't see the chat very well because the sun is right in my eyes. You probably see that from me squinting a little bit. But let's just discuss this. The game was Saturday. The issue was raised Saturday. During the game, Tom Curry went up to Ben O'Keefe and said, Sir, what am I supposed to do if he calls me a white? And that's when it came up. It was discussed afterwards. Apparently, England did file a complaint with World Rugby after the match about the conduct of Bongi Mbonambi. A lot of people immediately jumped to Bongi's defense and said he never said that. There was discussion by Afrikaans speakers that he said something completely different. I did not hear what Bongi said during the game. I did hear Tom Curry approach the official. So I've given it a couple days. I've given it time for people to, rifle through the footage. And now I've seen an edited clip in which the commentators are stripped out of the audio and just the microphone from the official on the field is on there. And based on that, it seems like what's being given as a reasonable excuse for what happened is legitimate. So there's two different things this could be. Now, before I get into this, let me make a point about a couple of years ago. Remember, I think it was 2021, Siya Kolisi was interviewed, and he bemoaned the fact that he was forced to learn Afrikaans. Now, I don't think he came off very well in that exchange. Maybe he meant to say that it was a challenge for him to have to learn another language just to do the line-out calls and do the calls on the field for the Springboks. And I think that's maybe what he meant. But it started a whole brouhaha. People started cutting up their Springbok jerseys. I have a huge collection of South African rugby jerseys. And I did a video which went viral and got a lot of people's attention. And I said that it's unfortunate that Siya takes exception to that because Afrikaans gives South Africa a huge advantage. Now, mind you, that advantage has been diluted somewhat because all the talented South African rugby players who can't get a fair shake playing on the national side, like CJ Stander and a host of others, Duhan Vandemev, Pierre Schoeman, all make national sides playing for Scotland or Ireland or playing in the US or playing abroad, playing for France. All of these South African players not playing in South Africa, they've gone abroad. So a lot of them, of course, know Afrikaans, so that diminishes South Africa's advantage. But nonetheless, by and large, they're the only country in the world that speaks, well, they are the only country in the world that speaks Afrikaans, and it is a huge advantage on the field. You can speak Afrikaans, and no one understands what you're saying, for the most part. So, Siya complained about speaking Afrikaans, and I said, Siya, you don't understand. Brother, it's an advantage, a huge advantage. So get over it. South Africa has 12 official languages now with the inclusion of South African Sign Language, that stuff that they do at the Mandela funeral. What an embarrassment that was. What a scam artist. The guy doesn't even know sign language and people don't even call him out. That's how crooked and corrupt the country is. At Nelson Mandela's funeral, what an embarrassment. But that's politics. Let's get out of that. Let's get back to the story at hand. So I said that's with Siya Kolisi, and I did that video in which I pulled up one shirt after another, my jersey after another, and I said, I'm not cutting up my jerseys just because Siya has a strange view on things. Anyway, so let's jump forward to the Bongi Mbonambi incident. So there's two plausible explanations for this that Afrikaans speakers are saying. Number one, that he said vidkant, and another he said vidkant. Vidkant is a wide side. In other words, go to the wide side. And vidkant is the white side, talking about the white team offside. So here's the thing. On the tape, now that you strip out the commentators, you can hear Bongi repeating it several times, saying that. Now, it is interesting. In the heat of battle, in the frustration South Africa's feeling at this point in the game, it would be understandable or plausible for a player to lose their temper, be angry, call someone a name. But that's a particularly offensive term, and one not often used by South Africans to insult people. They have much better terms to insult people. That's not saying it couldn't have happened. And by the same token, it's very possible for Tom Curry, an emotionally excited player who got a red card earlier in the tournament, still is chafing about that, to have misheard something and taken umbrage with it. Now, here's the problem from this point. Curry was completely out of line. Regardless of what happened here, Curry was completely out of line. He should have gone to his captain, Owen Farrell, instead of rushing up to Ben O'Keefe and interrupting the game. Players are not allowed to approach the official during the game, complain about issues. They go through their captain. Now, Tom Curry is far from the only rugby player to do that. Most rugby players try to game the system and talk the player up. But on something like that, it's understandable why he would have reacted emotionally. Also, people say at the end of the game that Bongi Mbonambi was refused to shake his hand. Well, listen, there was already bad blood between England and South Africa. Tom Curry heard what he heard. or what he thought he heard, or what he wanted to hear. Whatever it is, that's it. It seems entirely plausible to me now that Bongi Mbonambi was simply making a line call out there to his team in Afrikaans. Seems exactly what it is. To me, this seems to be a bunch of brouhaha about nothing. The excitement, the people getting all bent out of shape, the nonsense that came up over the weekend and yesterday is just not relevant, not germane to the game. The concerns we might have if Bongi got a suspension, if Bongi Mbonambi gets a suspension out of this, if World Rugby does anything other than simply dismiss this, unless some other evidence turns up that we are not privy to, this is going to be a scandal of the highest proportion. There appears to be nothing in this other than people making calls in a language. So, cunt is not the same as the C word in English. Kant is the name of a philosopher, Immanuel Kant, a German from Königsberg in the 18th century. Immanuel Kant. It's also a word in Afrikaans, spelled the same way, K-A-N-T. So, a lot of nonsense about a lot of nonsense. People need to get over it and move on. And that should be the end of this whole brouhaha that's rolled up here on this situation with Bongi Mbonambi. It's just simply, I think, quite ridiculous at this point. I didn't say it was ridiculous in the beginning. I said, let's wait and see, let's listen. Now I've seen, now I've heard, I've listened to the audio, I've seen the comments, I know the words in Afrikaans. I also know the style of the South African team and how they make these calls. And it seems like a lot of nothing, a lot of hoo-ha. Again, I leave the possibility open. The World Rugby will discover something that we haven't, but I find it incredibly unlikely. Look, England is a dirty team. And if English fans take offense to that, then they're not objective. Your team has players who give cheap shots they tackle players off the ball and get away with it all the time. They constantly enter the ruck from the side and don't get called on it most of the time. They grab ears, they grab genitals in the ruck, and it's not one player, it's a lot of players, and it isn't just now, it's happened over many years in recent history. I don't know why that style of play is there. Eddie Jones was a coach, you would think he would stop that, but it didn't stop. They need to knock it off. Now, as far as this incident, again, I'm going to put this one to rest. All right, yesterday I did a live, and somebody was angry because I kept moving around in the sun. But let me take a look and see what the chat is here before I go any further. But I do need to turn away from the sun a little bit for a moment because I can't see the screen. So we're going to do that. And if that gives a guy vertigo, my apologies. Appreciate you watching the stream, but we really can't help that. So let's go back here. Wow, it really is bright here, and I really can't see. So let's see what we got here. Good afternoon. Okay. Agreed. Tom Curry. Sucks. Crybabies. Yeah. Okay. So not a lot of comments there for me to follow up on. Rugby's a rough sport. Yeah, it's a man's man. It's a man's sport, and men play it. And women play it as well, but we're talking in the context of men playing it and the nonsense going on. But anyway, I'm not going to be able to address the chat. I'll just come back where I was. You see me a little bit better? There you go. Anyway, so, I think that's the bottom line here, folks, is that Bongi Mbonambi appears to have done nothing wrong, simply being a leader out there for his team. Yeah, and I never accused him of anything. I just said it would be very disappointing if that were the case. It seems highly improbable that this is anything other than a misunderstanding. And hopefully that's the conclusion World Rugby reaches today or tomorrow at the latest, instead of leaving people hanging. The Springboks haven't announced their side yet. I'll do a prediction for the side tonight if they haven't announced it, and then do an analysis after the side is mentioned and give you my projection on who I think should be starting. It's just one man's opinion. Some people seem to take umbrage with that, but they keep tuning in and watching, so I find that funny. Anyway, but again, I see nothing in this based on what we've seen. Listening to the audio without the commentators, it seems quite clear that Bongi, here's the thing. If Bongi Mbonambi was calling him that once in anger, okay, one might, it's plausible. But to repeatedly call it out when everybody can hear it, knowing the sanctions that would come, he's not stupid. Bongi Mbonambi is a talented player. He's not stupid. Whatever the case is, I think that we will have Bongi, and he will start at hooker for the final against the All Blacks. And I'll do a review and a preview of the All Blacks, but I will say one thing about this game right now. We do not need this team, South Africa, to show up in its standard style. And what is that standard style? Well, we just take it as it comes, no rush. No. This needs to be the Springboks versus the All Blacks 2013, Ellis Park, Brian Habana, 2 tries in the first half. You need to go balls to the wall, breakout offense, and score. You need to do them what you did at Twickenham. You need to do them what they did to you in Auckland in the Tri-Nations, or the Rugby Championship a few months ago. We cannot come out of the gate with lead in our feet, with bricks loaded around our feet. We cannot come out and fall behind the All Blacks. You must score early, and you must show fluidity. Otherwise, we're going to look just like those dazed sheep with the headlights in our eyes, watching the All Blacks score 3 tries in 18 minutes. Remember that? Oh, that was pathetic. That's what needs to happen. We'll talk more about that in a preview and analysis coming up video over the next couple of days. And again, back to this point, Bongi Mbonambi, in my view, completely innocent of the allegations. And I think that at the end of the day, if that is in fact proven to be the case, then England Rugby and Tom Curry would owe Bongi Mbonambi a profuse public apology for a false allegation. Tom Curry's not talking about this now, and that's probably smart. That's the case. If Bongi Mbonambi actually did say that, then a sanction is warranted, and an apology to England Rugby, to South Africa fans, and to Tom Curry. But I don't think that's the case. So this cannot be allowed to be just swept under the carpet and it's gone. Okay, Bongi did nothing wrong, that's it. No. This has been blown up into something big, and it needs to be addressed with apologies from one side or the other when it's all over. There you go, folks. That's the answer. Bongi innocent, not proven guilty by the public opinion. Public opinion finds Bongi Mbonambi innocent of the allegations against him. Are we wrong? We shall see. We'll see what World Rugby says, but that's my analysis on it. Thanks a lot, everybody. I'm going to wrap it up here. You have a good day, and thanks for tuning in, and I'll be back later on with the news today. Take care, and thank you very much.